Just to let you know, we have started recording this piece. Just for those parents who are not able to join us this evening, they will be able to have an opportunity to go back and review and get the information. For those parents who have joined us in the chat momentarily, I'm going to add a link in. It's a link that you already have, and it just has all of the documents that you would need in reference to the information that we're going to go over with you, but more importantly, for information that you're going to need moving forward to review courses and how to register your child for middle school. All right, we're at 1:11. So I'm just gonna share that in the chat, the link, so that you could go ahead and open that up and take a look as we refer to the documents. I'll add it again in about 5 minutes. It looks like we're study at 118. There was 120. All right, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I just shared in the chat the link that was shared with you about this evening's event. And in the link of the email that was sent, it's under the programs, study programs for middle school. And under that link, you will get all of the other documentation that you're able to look through, read through at your own leisure. But first up, let's get started. For those who do not know me, my name is Lamont Thomas, and I am the very proud principal of Thomas Grover Middle School. I am completing, I believe, year 7 as the principal at Grover. Prior to that, I was a principal in another school district for 6 years. I've been, believe it or not, building administration for, I can't do the math right now, for 15, 16 years. So at some capacity, I've been at building administration for some time. I know I don't look it, but I have been doing this for some time. With me, I have my 2 assistant principals. They're going to introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kim Kiak. This is actually my first year at Grover. I came from the Cherry Hill School District. I spent 21 years there teaching science. I'm very excited and really enjoying my first year here at Grover. The kids are phenomenal and the staff is phenomenal as well. And I love working with these 2 gentlemen that you see on the screen here.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Evan Malakadis, and I'm the other assistant principal here at Grover. I have been working in the district. This is now my 8th year, and this is my 3rd year as the assistant principal at Grover. Prior to that, I was a 4th grade teacher at Millstone River School for 5 years. So I have had an amazing experience here at Grover. It is a wonderful place to work and learn, and we're excited to welcome you all.
All right, so like I said at the very beginning, for those parents who are just joining us in the chat, we do have a link with all of documentation that you would need for this evening. That link was shared with you prior, so you may have started to thumb through the information about the middle level and all the exciting things that you and your child could look forward to. Just want to go over briefly the setup for this evening. It is a webinar, so it's being recorded, so you can always go back and look at parts that you may have missed. Part of it will be live, us talking and having conversation with you. And the other piece will be some videos that we have pre-recorded just because we didn't want to inconvenience our students and parents and our staff, but we wanted you to get the information firsthand from them. So first things first, some of you may know this, some of you may not. Just want to go over the history briefly of Thomas Grover Middle School. Like many of you know, the community at one point was all farmland, or a lot of farmland. And Thomas Grover Middle School was in essence a farm. So if you know where the school is, right across from it is a field, and that's called the Grover Farm. And on that farm was a family with some children, one child named Thomas. And so that part of the field was connected to the part where the school currently is. So it's all their farmland. And unfortunately, Vietnam occurred, and Thomas was of the age where he was drafted to go to the army, and unfortunately paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Years later, the family did donate and allow the school district to utilize the land to build a school. And so the district decided to honor, to thank the Grover family, but to honor their son, they named the school after Thomas Grover Middle School. So just a little bit of history of the school and the importance of it. As far as the school goes, it was completed in 1999. That was the first year. So the school's roughly 23 years old. And for a school in our country, that's relatively young. But because the community has grown so much, and where your child's at now, you probably have seen it, we have done an addition onto our school as well as other schools within the district. And so we added 16 classes just this past year. So our current students are the first students to be and to use that space. So it has, expanded a bit, but it's still a really good facility, but we're running out of room. So just wanted to let you know that. But more importantly, beyond the physical structure of the building, it's what's in the building that's important. Like Ms. Kiak and Ms. Malakeda said, our students and our staff care deeply for one another, and the work that the teachers do each day on behalf of the kids shows. That makes for a great culture at Grover, where we definitely make sure that all things that we do are on behalf of the student. Even at times, parents, when we may be in conflict with one another, meaning the building educators and the parent, we're all trying to reach that same goal for what's best for your child. So just keep that in mind as you begin the transition along with your child to the middle school. But most importantly, I know some of you are very nervous because this is the first time for some that their child's going to be entering middle school. And maybe your child is a little nervous, but we've done this before. Have no fear. We continue to produce great kids. And so part of what we're going to do this evening, like I said, will be a toggle back and forth with the live piece, but also with some videos. We thought it was important that you hear from current sixth graders and their experience at Grover over the last couple of months. So these are students who sat in the chairs that your current fifth graders are sitting in about a year ago. And now they're going to explain to you from their own mouths what their experience has been at Grover. And once again, for those parents who joined us a little late, I'm going to put in the chat the documents that you may need for this evening, as well as you continue on this next process. And at this time, we're going to hear from some sixth graders.
Hello, I'm Talia, and I'm from 6G. And I wanted to talk about certain things that we offer in 6th grade. We have lockers, which is one of the most hardest things at the beginning of the year because you have to memorize a 3-numbered code, which was a big struggle for me because it took me a long time, and I don't know, my locker didn't like me because I was able to open my friend's locker. Lockers, yes, lockers. But one of my favorite things I enjoyed was art. Art was a fun subject because we were able to make sculptures, and we were with your leftover clay after making the tiles in art class, you were able to sculpt anything you want. And I made I think it was a cheese lizard. I don't know why. Very humorous. Am I right? One of my other favorite subjects is math. It's very entertaining, and I love math. We have Khan Academy goals, and your teachers are there to help you with struggles with the orders of operations questions, which were also a big struggle for me. But I think it was a really fun process overall. So it was very entertaining and everything, and I really enjoy art class again because I liked that we had free time after we finished our projects in art class, and also math. You can play fun games. My math teacher, Mr. D'Alessandro, we're learning how to play hearts in math, and then sometimes we have math bingos, which are also fun. So I just wanted to let you guys in on a little bit things about that happens in 6th grade. Bye.
Hello, 6th graders. I hope you get this message very likely. Let's talk about school life. Okay, so school life everybody thinks that it's just about homework, having homework, tests, and doing everything that the teacher tells you to do. I don't think that's true. I think school life is just about you being a normal kid, you having friends, and having fun with your talking to teachers, asking them about the day, or just talking normal, just complete the assignments and test. That's all. If you ever have trouble remembering your homework, just jot it down in a paper. Sometimes I tend to forget my homework. I can't say that. I always remember my homework. I actually do, but just sometimes when I feel like I have too much homework, I just jot it down and then I just put it next to my computer so I could start doing my homework. The next topic is student pressure. I think that a lot of students have a lot of pressure because of of how it is. Because of school life, they think that they're so overwhelmed that they need to change for they can be a better person. But no, that's not true. You just need to be yourself instead of applying instead of going around and around instead of going around and around and just thinking there's no hope of getting good grades up. That's not true. You just need to stay true to yourself. Always believe the positive, never the negative, because the negative is only going to lead you to bad moments. For example, my cousin was thinking so negative that he actually just had like straight F's. It actually helped them because I said always look at the positive side, never look at the negative side. And yeah, that's how my things are going. And I hope this message goes to other students. Thank you. And never let people change just because you want to be. Never change for because you only want to be better. Just stay true to yourself and never and always look at the positive side. Okay, bye. Hello, future sixth.
Hello, not yet sixth graders. I'm Myra, and I'm here to talk to you about, well, not face to face, but talk to you about your average sixth grade life chaos. So, homework. You're gonna want to have to note down your homework. Some teachers can give you a lot of homework a lot of the time, and you have 8 different classes. You gotta keep track of all the homework in each class. Let's go on to something different now. Parent pressure. Parents, don't be so pressuring. Your children aren't going to do the best on their first year, especially not on their first marking period. Don't expect way too much out. Way too much. It's a big change from elementary, and it's going to be hard at first. And and speaking of that, yeah, it's going to be really hard though. Don't check Genesis. Just don't. Okay. Always remember to respect your teachers. Your teachers do a lot for you and they try their best. They aren't paid much either for this. They need a raise. So let's talk about stress and anxiety instead. You're gonna get really stressed. You're gonna get a lot of anxiety, but you gotta. There are so many people you can talk to about stress and anxiety. You can talk to Miss Ho, the sixth grade counselor, or Miss Allie, the bullying specialist, who is downstairs. And sometimes when you have stress and anxiety, you just need to speak up. You need to speak up in a lot of things. It means whether your friends aren't really the best, whether you're having too much pressure put on you, speak up. It's going to help a lot and it's going to make a big change. Thank you for listening. I'm out.
Hello, future sixth grade parents. I'm James Yin. I'm from 6T, and I'm here to talk about electives, after-school clubs, and some sports, along with cycles, which are pretty new. Cycles are as following: health, computers, art, music, and life skills. They're pretty straightforward, as the name says it itself. In gym, this is something new for most of you all new sixth graders. You have to change in gym. This is mandatory unless your teacher tells you not to. There is electives. Got band, orchestra, choir, and communication arts. There's more in other grades. There's after school clubs. Some clubs could be like debate club, like Lego robotics, and that's and then other clubs, passport club, etc. You also have sports, which is also after school, and there is other you have to travel to other places sometimes to like have a game, which parents are mostly responsible for picking up the student from school or from the location that they're at. There's also some school information you need to know. First of all, phones are to be kept into your locker. Second of all, your backpack should be in your locker. It's school of code. And third of all, please respect your teachers. It's like don't, no, don't please just respect your teachers. And if you're stressed out or something, you can tell an adult, like our bullying specialist, Miss Allie. If you're bullied, you can tell Miss Ho, which is the wonderful sixth grade counselor. One last thing is that all your weekly homework should be completed, and all your homework should also be completed. And parents, please don't put too much pressure on your kids. It does affect their mental well-being and their physical well-being. And don't forget to be kind to one another. Go Jags!
So parents, those are some of our students, and they were unfiltered, unedited, and just really shared their passion and their enthusiasm about Grover. Touched on a bunch of different things, some of which we will talk through during this evening. But we just wanted to start with the student because, again, they are currently sixth graders and were where your current fifth graders are. So just wanted to give you a little bit of perspective that they will be fine and you will be fine as well. And just one final time, I'm just going to share the docs in the system, in the chat. The first doc, well, one of the docs would be, oh, you can't see it because my lighting's way off, but this would be the doc, which just tells you everything about Grover, and it goes through, and so it's the one like that, and you'll be able to look through it, and it just tells you about the middle school, how it's organized, curriculum, instruction, who do you contact, telephone numbers, email addresses, extensions, what's required. All of that information is in there. Some of it, again, what we will be going over this evening. I'm going to talk briefly about the middle level philosophy, because that's sometimes the big question, like what's the difference between the middle school and the elementary school and the high school? And we are a middle school for a reason. We are not a junior high. There is a difference between a middle school and a junior high school. And most of it is just our approach with working with our students. The most important piece that you as parents will be reminded of is to just let them be kids. We're not preparing them for college at this time. We're not saying, okay, we're going to get into this Ivy League. Let them be kids because their innocence will disappear rather quickly. The transition that you are going to see in your child over the next 3 years will be amazing. Just think about your own, where you were at the end of fifth grade and then where you were at the beginning of your freshman year in high school. That is what you're getting ready to see over the next 3 years. And so we try our best to be very supportive of the students and try to help them through that process. And often, sometimes we have to remind the parents that they are still kids and they're going to make mistakes and do things that you're going to scratch your head and like, why did they do that? And the answer is because they are still kids. So just want to make sure that we remind you of that. Again, the transition that they're going through now will be the most that they would ever go through a transition in their lives. You know, even as a transition from teenagehood to adulthood, it won't be as dramatic as it's going to be over the next 3 years. And parents, be forewarned, if this is your first time through this, your child will change. Your relationship with your child will change. The most important component in their world will be their social circle and their friends. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that going in. For those of you who will be the first timers, what we call first timers anyway, that relationship is so important. But as parents, you need to make sure you're still monitoring and watching out for your child. And with that, I in the past, I've never talked about social media, but I think it's deserving at this point, just because over the last couple of years, of course, over the last 2 years, we were all Zooming, and the kids got used to, communicating via social media and not directly with others. And so we have seen uptick with social media use. So I know some parents either give the kids a phone in 5th grade, or many give them a phone 5th grade going into 6th. And some of it is a security blanket for the parent, and some of it is a security blanket for the kid. And I understand all of that. I have a 6th grader and I have an 8th grader, but please be mindful of what's going on with your child in their cell phone and social media. Sometimes we have to call parents and explain something going on with their child that the parent was unaware of. You pay the cell phone bill, you could put whatever software you want on it, you could track where they are, you could restrict what they download. I just would tell you to make sure that you do that, because yes, they are going through transitions. Yes, there are kids. And with that, they make mistakes that they should not make, but that's part of this process. Which leads me to part of the other philosophy at the middle level is to letting them explore different opportunities. Sometimes you want to sort of be rigorous as your kid goes through. We want them to explore. So Mr. Malakase is going to talk about club, athletics, and some of what the young students spoke about. And we want them to explore all of those things and the different classes that they will be taking. Explore the opportunities so they get to learn about who they are. We do encourage that. And we want to be able to create a supportive community to help them grow. Ms. Kiak will speak about that, along with some of the other school counselors, to talk about the supports that we have at Grover to help our students grow into the individuals who they're going to become. Now, I know, again, some of the fear that parents have is that the K-5s, for the most part, you have one teacher, 25 kids, they build a great relationship with that class, and it's small, intimate, and the kids are able to connect with the one adult. They go to this middle level and there's multiple teachers, like the student said. You have one teacher for math, one for English, one for this, one for that. And so it's multiple teachers. So the model that we use, again, at the middle school, not the junior high, at the middle school is called teaming. And the approach that we had with teaming is because we have 400 kids per grade, we try to break it down so that each team has 100 kids. And so on that team will be the 100 students and what we call the 4 core content area teachers. And that's the science teacher, the math teacher, the social studies teacher, and I'm missing one in the IRLA teacher. So those are the 4 teachers that work with your child. And so that it still should be or feel like that 1:25 ratio. And they have team days and then they do different activities like that. Each grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th, each have 4 teams. And the teams are T, G, M, S. And your smart parents, that stands for Thomas Grover Middle School. So your child may end up like the students are saying, I'm on 6S, I'm on 6M, I'm on 6T. That's their team that they will be working with. And so that's the middle level philosophy. That's our approach. That's how we operate. That's how we work. Again, the documents that I shared in that link will give you a little bit more information. But to speak to some of that, we have several videos we're going to show. We have 2 school counselors, our 6th grade teachers, and Ms. Kiak as well will talk through some of the supports, just to give you a little bit of a broader picture, if you will, and more context of what we're saying about the philosophy of working with the middle level student. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to 6th grade parent orientation. My name is Gene Buck, and I'm a 6th grade science teacher here at Grover Middle School on Team 6M. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the teachers who was able to open Grover Middle School in 1999. So we're in our 23rd year. It's an amazing place to work and be at. So today I just wanted to mention a couple things for you to know for your 6th grader who's rising up in September to our school. And to become a JAG is an amazing thing. We have a really interesting adjustment and transition program here to help your child. And I just want to mention a little bit about the schedule and a couple quick things to help you get a point of view from one of the teachers at our school here. So first of all, Grover Middle School is set up with 4 teams, TGMS for Thomas Grover Middle School. And as your child comes in, they'll be assigned to a team. We call the team teachers the social studies, science, math, and IRLA teachers. And those teachers are acting as homeroom teachers also. So when your child comes, they get a first week to 2 weeks of orientation. We bring them on tours. We teach them how to open lockers. We really guide them through the building and show them how the schedule works. So in sixth grade, they will see each of those teachers. They can see each of them daily. The schedule is set up for that. I'm not sure how we will be working it next year because we've been in transition phases where our schedule has changed. But in the current schedule, it really works very well where your child gets all of that content area all week long, different than in elementary school. So as a science teacher, I get to see all of my students every day. And we have a chance for them to come at different points in the day. We have something called WIN, which is what I need. The last half hour of the day, students can go to see a teacher if they've missed for a music lesson or if they need extra help or support or they were absent from school, they can go in that last half hour of the day and get some extra help with something as needed. So that's a great part of our day. We have that built into the end of sixth grade. We can also help students organize and plan what they have to do for homework. In addition to this great schedule, we also have students, we help to teach them time management, organization skills, communication skills, and study skills. These are all parts of things that are important to their success in middle school, and we build them into our lessons, and we have it set up throughout the year to help them grow, not only academically, but in those areas also for being a good middle schooler. And so this transition, we've seen many grades come through, and the students adjust really well. Some may need help with chunking assignments and time management and problem solving with different situations, but the teachers here are amazing. The teachers, the administrators, the students, and the parents just come together and we make a community here at Grover. We call it the greatness of Grover, and we're looking forward to having everyone come to join us in September and become part of the Grover family. We do have some expressions here we use every day in the morning announcements, and that is make someone's day. And also we have another one that says be kind to one another. So we really have a wonderful school here, and we're very proud to be part of it. And currently the sixth graders are choosing electives for seventh grade. They'll be doing that this next week. So it's an exciting time in their life with this more independence and freedom. Of course, there becomes more responsibility, but they get to make choices in what they would like to be taking as far as classes, which is a great step in middle school. So we look forward to having your child join us in September and become part of the greatness of Grover. Have a great evening. Bye.
Hello, parents, to Thomas Grover Middle School's parent orientation. My name is Linda Cherinskas. I am a sixth grade social studies teacher. I teach on team 6T, and I'm here today to kind of fill you in on a few things to expect in sixth grade. We understand that this is a really large transition for our students, and if this is your first child to go through middle school, it might be a bit of a transition also. Things look a little bit different in middle school. Students start to have a lot more independence from their parents and from their teachers. And, that's a process for students, and it's something that we really foster, especially in sixth grade. We try to set them up in such a way to really make their middle school years successful. So the two topics I want to talk to you about today, one is homework, and the other is conferences. So homework, when kids get to middle school, there's a lot of concern about the amount of homework they're going to get, or a lot of, they hear these rumors about a ton of homework. And, we don't really believe that to be a great function of their time in middle school. Yes, there will be homework, but teachers try to limit the amount of homework because we don't want students overwhelmed. Homework is given at times. Math is one of the areas that you may see more homework in than other subjects. Specifically for social studies, I try to give homework on occasion because it's good for kids to get in the habit of having that independence to take work home and complete it and turn it in the next day. But it certainly would not be on a daily basis. The organization of the homework is really important. So as you probably have already heard, Grover Middle School has team teaching. So there are 4 team teachers. And these, as a team teacher, we stay very much in contact with each other on a daily basis. And typically the teams will create a homework calendar for students, a digital calendar, where teachers input the homework in there. So there is a resource for students to go to know what they have for homework, because with the number of classes and the number of different teachers they have, it can be slightly overwhelming. So the homework calendar is something that is provided to your students. Some students still choose to keep a physical agenda because that's part of their organizational skills. But along with that homework calendar, team teachers are always kind of talking to each other and touching base on what they're doing in each other's classes. So we don't too often have big overlap on tests or quizzes. So we don't want to overwhelm the student as they make that transition to middle school. Each teacher will have their own policy on homework and their own expectations, which will be very clear to your students in the beginning of the year as teachers establish their routines. But I don't think that homework is anything to stress over for middle schoolers. We definitely try to make all homework and all classwork manageable for our students. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was conferences. Conferences do look much different in middle school than they do elementary school. In middle school, we do not meet with all the parents. So not everyone gets a conference. Conferences are what we call teacher initiated. So teachers will request to see you. Conferences are either late in October or November, depending on how they schedule them on the school calendar, and then again in February. So each time those would be teacher initiated. A teacher would reach out to you typically via email to say that we would like to come in, would like you to come in, or maybe have a Zoom call to discuss your child. Sometimes there's concerns about like a transition to middle school, or maybe we have academic concerns. Sometimes it's maybe we're just reaching out to get some background information about your child, maybe things that help them learn best that from past experiences. There could be social struggles. If we feel like a child's having a hard time socially, we might reach out to you to try to help them become more comfortable. So that would happen, like I said, in either October or November, depending on the school calendar. And then again in February, they would be teacher initiated. That being said, open communication is always appreciated by teachers. The best way to contact a teacher if you have a question or you would like an update on your child is through email. Teachers look at their email on a daily basis, and we are always happy to respond if you're just looking for like a little check-in, or perhaps you have a specific concern that you would like to talk to teachers about. If that's the case, we can set up a conference outside of the typical conference times to discuss specific concerns that you have. A lot of the communication from teachers to parents is through Genesis. Now that they are in middle school, they're getting grades. So you can, look at their Genesis account a couple times a week just to see is their assignments being completed, how are they doing, and that will give you a sense of how they're doing in middle school. Also, Google Classroom. Most teachers have a Google Classroom where they post their assignments, which is another way for you to kind of keep in touch on what's going on in the classroom and what's going on, and how they're progressing. But yeah, so it does take a little bit of getting used to because you don't have as much face time, I would say, with teachers as you're used to in middle school, but the communication will still be there, and we are always happy to answer any questions that you have. We really look forward to meeting your child next year, and we know that you will have a great middle school experience here at Grover.
Good evening, incoming sixth grade Grover families. My name is Kim Kiak, and I'm one of the assistant principals here at Grover Middle School. Welcome to our orientation. I'm sure you are excited for your child and maybe even a little bit nervous for this next adventure that is coming. But we are here to walk you through the process and answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to talk tonight about a few of the programs and supports that we have here at Grover to help our families and students. The first department that I would like to talk about is our amazing counseling department. Your child will be assigned a school counselor, and that counselor will actually stay with your child for all 3 years of middle school. At the end of the year, the counselors actually pack up their offices and move to the next section of the building that the students will be located in. So at the end of the sixth grade year, the counselor will pack up her office and she will move her office to the seventh grade wing of the building so that she can be in close proximity to the students that she serves. This allows our counselors to be in close contact with their students throughout their whole middle school career. Our counselors take a lot of time and pride in getting to know your children over the 3 years. They do meet and greets, they do classroom lessons, they do different groupings throughout the 3 years that your children are here at Grover. They really do an excellent job of making connections with students and helping students with what they need throughout the 3 years that they're here. Also in the counseling department, we have a student assistance counselor who focuses more on like the non-academic needs, more personal, peer, maybe family related difficulties. So that's another person that the students and families can also reach out to if they have concerns. Our student assistance counselor also doubles as our anti-bullying specialist. Also here at Grover, we have the English as a Second Language program. If your child is in the ESL program, they will have the support of an ESL teacher for each grade level that they are here at Grover. Our ESL teachers work very closely with our content teachers to make sure that our ESL students are getting everything that they need while they are here. Finally, at Grover, we have a full child study team. That child study team consists of a school psychologist, a social worker, and a learning disabilities teacher consultant. If your child is classified, they will be assigned one of these people as their case manager, and that person is your child's advocate and a good contact person for the whole time that you are here at Grover. Throughout the rest of the evening, you're going to learn about a lot of other programs and supports and great things that we do here at Grover. We are looking forward to welcoming your children in the fall of 2022, which is really only a few months away. So we are excited to get a new group of students here at Grover. Thank you for coming, and we will see you soon.
Hello, I'm Rachel Armstrong, and I'm the 7th grade counselor at Thomas Grover Middle School. I would like to tell you a little bit about how we could support both the student and the parent as school counselors for the next 3 years. One of the ways in which we support the student is by meeting with them one-on-one. Students can make appointments with their school counselor by either sending us an email, going on Google Classroom, or just speaking to us directly. Sometimes the counselors can be with the students without having an appointment. As school counselors, we also teach a variety of classroom lessons. These lessons focus on social and emotional learning, and the topics can include things like how to set goals, establishing positive relationships, or even making responsible decisions. Another way in which we support students is by running different groups. Some of these groups are extremely laid back, and kids get a chance to play games or even chat with their peers. Other groups are a bit more structured and can focus on topics like social skills and managing anxiety. I would like to emphasize the importance of Google Classroom. Each counselor has a Google Classroom, and we encourage 6th graders to join at the beginning of the year. We do this because a lot of important information is posted on Google Classroom, and some of those things include school programs, including clubs and activities. Lastly, we're here to support you as a new middle school parent. We understand that the changes and transitions of middle school can be difficult for you as well. So if you see any noticeable changes in your child or have any concerns, please feel free to reach out. As I tell all of my students, my door is always open. I'm so excited for you to join us here at Grover, and I look forward to supporting you in the years to come. Go Jag!
Hello, everyone. My name is Gilchrist, and I am currently the 8th grade counselor here at Grover Middle School. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the role of a school counselor in middle school. And one of the best things about my role is that I get to stay with your children for 3 years. So right now I'm the 8th grade counselor and I'm transitioning them into high school. And once I'm finished with that, I will pick up another grade, which will be your children, and we'll stay together for 3 years. And the beauty of looping is that we really get a chance to know each other, and to watch the progress along the way. I get to be the one constant in their middle school year, which is something that I never take for granted. So what do I do? Basically, I cover 3 areas of your child's life, and that is academics, social emotional, and then career. So each year, excuse me, we will do a classroom lesson on career exploration, not to be confused with college exploration. They'll handle that in high school. We really want the students to just open up and look to see what's out there and what might be important to them. Then we also we will do different developmental lessons like stress management. We also do academic integrity. We open it up to whatever the students need, and I will go into their classrooms and do a lesson. I also run small groups, which I call small group discussions, which is, it's not therapy. It's really just giving the students a place to talk with their peers about whatever happens to be on their minds. I've done all different kinds of groups. The one I would say from my last loop that comes up the most is stress. So we do spend time learning about different strategies for stress management, as well as just being in a group of their peers where somebody might have a suggestion. And I know from my experience that students will listen to each other, even if adults are saying the same thing. And the last way that I work with your children is individually. So, sometimes it's me just asking them to come in because there's something that we need to discuss, or them asking for an appointment. No matter what the reason, it's really just a way for them to advocate for themselves, which is our 3-year goal, and also just be able to talk about anything, because that's what's really important about middle school is students being able to talk about what they need to talk about and having adults listen to them. So I most definitely have the best job in the world because most times I get to be that person. So I take care of things in the classroom, I take care of things in small groups, and then, of course, individually. The one thing that you should know if you're having any concerns about middle school in general is I spend a great deal of time in 6th grade doing meet and greets, which is really just a 5 or 10 minute conversation with the student so I can put a name with a face, and just really find out what's going on with them. So don't ever be concerned if your student comes home and says, they had an appointment with their school counselor. It really is just a natural part of their day. So that's it for me right now. I'll be back a couple more times to talk about a few other things. Thanks for watching.
So parents, Ms. Gilchrist will be your child's school counselor for the next 3 years. So like it was stated earlier, they do loop. Ms. KXP talked about looping, meaning that school counselor stays with your child for 3 years, and that's a constant for their time at Grover. So as we transition, the next part is about course selection that you will take part with starting tomorrow, actually, if you want to. And so one of the documents actually says Rise in 6th grade course selection. Looks like this. in that doc that I sent earlier. And so you will look through all of it. It will talk about your electives. It will talk about world language. It will talk about the core classes. And so, like it has been said a couple of times, we have the math, the science, the IRLA, and social studies teachers as a core class, but also your child will have phys ed every other day and world languages every day. So that's like the core classes that they will follow while they are with us. But they also have cycle classes that they will have sixth graders, and then they will go into electives later on in seventh and eighth grade. So we're going to, again, this document about the sixth grade course selection is what you will use to go through and read about the courses, and it talks about the process to select the classes. Again, starting tomorrow, you will be able to go into Genesis and start selecting the courses for your child. And give you a little bit more, we have one this current sixth grade school counselor, Ms. Ho, who's going to go over a little bit of that process and talk through some of that for you. And then we're going to jump right from that to the world language piece. Again, your child has options for world languages. That's on the document as well. And there is a document about for world languages as well in that doc that I shared you. So you're going to hear from the supervisor for K-12 world languages as well, as she speaks through what the middle level world language program looks like. So you're going to hear about course selection process and the world language piece with that.
Hi everyone, welcome to the sixth grade parent orientation. My name is Susan Ho and I am the current sixth grade counselor at Grover Middle School. One of the burning questions we usually get from parents is often about math. At Grover Middle School, usually within the first few months of school, the math teachers administer the MAP test, MAP. Depending on how the student scores, they may be placed in our honors and accelerated math class. This class is offered in 6th through 8th grade. And for anyone with more content and curriculum questions, I definitely recommend reaching out to our math supervisor, Andrea Bean, for more information. Moving on to electives. I know that sixth graders have the choice of 4 different electives: communication arts, choir, band, and orchestra. They get only one choice for the year. One important thing to note is that if students pass on band or orchestra in 6th grade, they will not be able to take band or orchestra in 7th and 8th grade, because at that point, the students are going on their 2nd and 3rd year with their instruments, and those starting out later will be pretty behind. However, I wouldn't worry because they will have a chance to take band or orchestra again in high school. In regards to language options, Grover offers Spanish, French, German, and Chinese. Due to our immersion program, it is standard practice for students to stick with their language choice all the way through 8th grade. So we do ask parents and students to carefully consider their elective and language choices. For heritage speakers, meaning students who already speak any of these languages fluently at home, it is highly recommended that those students sign up for a different language, mainly because heritage speakers will not be very challenged taking year 1 of a language they're already fluent in. Plus, heritage speakers can test into more advanced levels of their language later on in high school. Since some of these choices will require long-term commitment, we ask that when the parent portal opens up on March 24th, students take the time to carefully consider their choices. It's not a first come, first served situation, and more so a lottery system. So please use the time to really think about it. I think I basically touched up on a lot of the big ones. I hope that you all feel a little bit more relaxed and confident in joining our Grover family. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Ashley Warren, and I am the proud supervisor of the World Language and Dual Language Immersion Program here in WWP. We're excited that your child will begin middle school in West Windsor-Plainsboro next year. As part of the transition, students and families will have the opportunity to select the world language that students will study in middle school. Our World Language Program has been recognized as a model world language program by the New Jersey Department of Education, and we are proud to be the only K-12 program in the state to receive such an honor. Our World Language Program offers 4 language choices in middle school and high school: French, German, Mandarin Chinese, and Spanish. All families will be able to make their language selection on Genesis. Once a language has been selected for 6th grade, students continue with that same language for 7th grade and 8th grade throughout their middle school experience. If you would like more information on the languages we offer, please visit our district website. At the middle school level, our world language classes are designed to be engaging, interactive, and relevant. Our goals are to help students communicate with people from diverse cultures and grow as global citizens who can speak, read, and write in a new language. The middle school language program is designed for new learners of a language. Students who already speak one of our program languages at home will study a different language in middle school. So for example, if your family speaks German at home, you will not take German in our middle school program. You will take a new language, Spanish, French, or Mandarin Chinese. In high school, students will have an opportunity to continue studying the language they studied in middle school, begin studying a new language, or take a placement test and take an appropriate course for a language they already speak. So for example, if your family speaks Chinese at home, you speak Chinese and your child speaks Chinese, they will not take Chinese in middle school, but they do have the chance once they reach high school to take a placement test and test into an appropriate Chinese course. We look forward to welcoming your child into our middle school world language program. We know that they will love studying and learning and growing as a new speaker, reader, writer of a new language. All our best.
Okay. And so again, we get into the course selection. We're just going to hear a little bit more details so that you can have a conversation with your child about what courses to take, what language to take, and things like that. So please just make sure the most important piece as we talk through the course selections that you have a conversation with your child and just don't take, don't just choose something for them. Engage them in this process. We're going to go through just 2 more pieces. One, we'll just go a little bit into the music program, just because a lot of our parents and students participate in the music program. We just want to make sure that you're clear on what that looks like as you transition to 6th grade, and also the PRISM program. So unlike a traditional junior high school, our gifted and talented program is an opt-in. And so the students get to select to be a part of it. It's not like we look at a score and say, okay, you're in gifted and talented. It's really, truly a choice. Some kids opt in and they're like, oh, I love it, and they stay with it. Other kids opt in and they're like, oh, no, it's not for me, walk away and then come back in 8th grade. And that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm gonna let you hear from Ms. Gilchrist again, who's gonna go over the music options so that you're clear on what you could choose when you go through the course selection process starting tomorrow, as well as from Mrs. Dosey, who's gonna go over what PRISM looks like for our students at the middle level.
Hello, Dawn Gilchrist again. I am here this time to talk about music. And we have 3 electives for 6th graders in our music program. We have choir, we have band, and we have orchestra. There is no experience necessary for a 6th grader to join. So choir, no experience. If you love to sing or just want to learn how to sing with a group ensemble, then choir is the place for you. If you already play a musical instrument for band or orchestra, you can certainly sign up for either of those. And if you are a beginner, you can sign up for certain instruments in band and orchestra. And if you look at the handout that was part of your packet, it's called Beginners in Band, Choir, or Orchestra in 6th grade. And basically, if you read down, it's going to tell you the specific instruments that students can sign up for. So for band, you can sign up for clarinet, French horn, trombone, baritone, or tuba. And if you are interested in starting an instrument for orchestra, you can sign up for the violin, viola, cello, or bass. And once again, choir, no experience necessary. Just sign up for whatever you are most interested in. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Austin Dulce, and I'm the Teacher Resource Specialist and Facilitator of the Gifted and Talented program here at Grover. PRISM, which stands for Performance Reveals Individual Student Magic, is a program by which all students have the opportunities to showcase their gifts and talents. PRISM supports students' intrinsic motivation to go beyond the classroom as they follow their interests and capitalize on their abilities. Regardless of what students choose to pursue, all PRISM undertakings incorporate research, problem solving, and communication skills. In grade 6, all students are introduced to the PRISM philosophy and the opportunities PRISM offers during the first 5 weeks of school. Students are encouraged at this time to explore what PRISM offers so they can make an informed decision about their participation in it. Programming is offered with the intent of having a range of appeal for intellectual interests and passions, while maintaining a focus on our district strategic goals. Through PRISM time, students connect with like-minded peers, facilitating social emotional growth. PRISM provides another opportunity for learning outside the regular classroom, and there's a focus on real-world problem solving where an authentic audience evaluates student growth and performance. For specific information about PRISM, including the tracks that are available, please reference the PRISM handout that was given to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at justindolsomuscolo@wwprsd.org, which you can find in the PRISM handout. Have a great evening, and I look forward to working with your children next year.
So the handout that Mr. Dosey was talking about is one that looks like this. Again, it's in the link that's in the chat. You would be able to find it, to read up on that, get some additional information to make a decision if that's what you and your child wants to be a part of. And what Ms. Gilchrist talked about, the music one, that looks like this, and it gives you the information about the music program. And so now to round things out, yes, we spoke about academics. We spoke briefly about the course selection process and things that you need to do. But we also now going to talk about the other component that we try our best to make sure the kids are balanced, which is our athletic and our extracurricular activities. And that part, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Malakadis.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Everybody, good to speak to you again. And an incredibly important part of the middle school experience has to do with our co-curricular programming. The middle school experience is one where we encourage students to explore interests, passions, try new things, make connections with staff and with one another beyond the classroom. And one way we do that is through our robust offering of our co-curricular program. In athletics, for the first time, your child will be able to compete for Grover in a wide range of athletic offerings. In the fall, we offer cross country, soccer, field hockey. In the winter, basketball, cheer, and wrestling. And in the spring, softball, baseball, track and field, tennis, and lacrosse. Aside from athletics, though, it certainly doesn't end there. And one of the most exciting shifts for students as they transition from elementary to middle school has to do with the after-school clubs and programs that are available to them here at Grover. There are a few staples that you may be familiar with, and I'll walk you through a couple of them, but they're also incredibly popular with students. Science Olympiad, which is not exclusive to sixth grade students, is an opportunity for students to compete and push their learning edge in and outside of a science classroom. Future City, which begins with a question of how can we make the world a better place? Together, students imagine, research, and design and build a future city that answers that very question. There's also Math League and an amazing theater program that students can participate in. Now, in addition to all of these great programs, we also offer a dynamic lineup of after-school clubs for students to participate in for both the fall and spring. And I call it dynamic because it is ever-changing. We have yoga and film appreciation club, environmental club, sign language, debate, and mural art, to name a few. But one thing that I know myself and Mr. Thomas and Ms. Kiek are so proud of is that we encourage students to, if they don't find a club that suits them, they have an opportunity to even create their own club, right? To take ownership of that experience. And we certainly encourage that. But we're sure that students will find at least one part of our co-curricular program that suits their interests and even pushes them to maybe try something new. So again, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you and your family to Grover Middle School, and we look forward to welcoming you in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malakis. So he's talked briefly about sports. In order, of course, to participate in sports, you got to have a physical and have to be approved by our health department to make sure that you're good to go. But also a big transition for our 5th to 6th grade. As many of the students as you turn 11, there's certain shots and vaccines that you need in order to continue on with your education, of course. So the health department, meaning the school nurses, will send information out to you, but that's also included in the link about what shots your child would need as they enter the middle level. But just to give you a brief overview, you're going to hear from our school nurse at this time.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha. I'm one of the school nurses at Grover Middle School, and I just have some information for you to go over the 21-22 school year to make the transition for your 6th graders as seamless as possible. So the first thing is that all 6th graders are required to have a Tdap and Menoptera vaccine within 30 days of their 11th birthday in order to attend public school in New Jersey. Proof of immunizations to be turned into the nurse's office at your child's current school or to Grover over the summer. The American Academy of Pediatrics still recommends that children stay up to date on their immunizations, as well as the NJ Department of Health mandates that all students are up to date on their immunizations to attend public school. It is recommended that all 6th graders have a current physical exam on file in the nurse's office. If your child is in need of a physical, the best time to get the physical would be in May so that their physical is good for all 3 sports seasons. Registration opens in August and you should receive an email to register. Fall sports will begin around the first day of school in September, so all physicals should be in the nurse's office by mid-August in order to be processed and approved for the first day of tryouts. In order to participate in sports, the requirements are registration on Genesis and a current doctor's physical exam on file. All physical exams can be downloaded from the WWP website, and that all students are up to date on immunizations. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my email or you can call the nurse's office. Thank you.
All right, so thank you for sticking with us, parents. We are at that 1 hour mark, but we just had 2 more wrap ups that we wanted to share with you. One is really from the parent perspective of what Grover is all about. So we always invite, as part of our orientation, to hear from a parent. So it goes, from their perspective of how the school operates and any feedback and give you suggestions, ways to help your child transition over the next 3 years. And also from your child's school counselor, Ms. Gilchrist. In the past, we've had our 8th graders also do part of the wrap up where they share their overall experience over the 3 years. But because our current 8th graders unfortunately didn't have what we would call a traditional 3 years at the middle level, they started as 6th graders and came back as 8th graders. And so it's been a little rocky for them. Ms. Gilchrist will be giving some guidance from the perspective of our 8th graders. But again, we're going to hear from a parent who would just sort of say parent to parent, this is what I've experienced at Grover. And then also a wrap up from your child's school counselor, Ms. Gilchrist.
Hi, my name is Nima Sanghavi, and I'm the PTSA president of Grover Middle School. And I'd like to take a moment to welcome all the 6th graders or the incoming 6th graders into middle school. As a parent, I know when my kids came in or when my son came in, I was a little bit scared. And when he came in, he wasn't even organized or prepared. And I realized very quickly that my job was only to help him organize. And initially I had to be on him to be like, oh, have you finished your homework? Have you done this? I would look at the Google Calendar every day to make sure all his homework was finished, make sure help him organize his folders. And then within a month or 2, he was fine and he was ready to fly off and he flew off. Now I don't even know, he's an 8th grader this year and I don't even know sometimes when his tests are, or he tells me, oh, Mom, I had a test today. I'm like, oh, really? Right? So I think that's the beauty of watching your kids go from 6th grade to 8th grade. Initially, they need so much help, and then they're ready to fly into high school. And I believe that's what the school prepares you for, and they prepare you very well for it. So as the president of the PTSA, I urge you to reach out to the teachers and the principal for help at any time when you see your child falter. I urge you to help him initially organize and help them along the transition. And I also urge you that when the time comes to let them fly and experience all that middle school has to offer. Grover Middle has a lot of activities, clubs, starting from sports, such as soccer, track, cross country, to being in the school play in 7th and 8th grade. So I really urge the parents to let the kids experience what they want to be, because these are the years as they go into their teens, they're trying to find themselves and trying to be. And lastly, I request all parents to be a part of the PTSA, to help out in the different activities, to become a part of, be a PTSA member. Because this is the time when you do want to have very sound parent, teacher, student conversations, be involved, so you know what's going on. Everybody's not always in the dark, or everybody's not in the dark. Be a member, be a part of the team. Come and help out at the school. Simple things as being a part of the book fair, or helping out with spirit wear, or for Mother's Day. It brings you into the school and shows your child that you're involved. That's all I have to say. As you guys move on to middle school, I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you.
Whew, okay, one more time. Dawn Gilchrist here, 8th grade counselor, and will be 6th grade counselor next year. I want to share a little bit of information with you to sort of tie up this evening, where you have learned an awful lot about what to expect for middle school. The one thing that I think is important is that we also know from the students what to expect from middle school. So I know you've heard from some 6th graders and their experience. A couple years ago, I asked my 8th graders, if you could give advice to your 6th grade parents, what would you say to them? And all kinds of different answers. But the one that really struck with me, I think still holds true, especially coming out of the pandemic. And one of the students wrote, "Mom, middle school isn't always about grades. Yes, they are important, but in all honesty, my mental health and mental stability take priority. Sometimes your constant urge to get a 100 out of 100 on all tests really stresses me out. Give me a little breathing space. Middle school is about finding what is right for me, not what you think is right for me." And I think that this is, very straightforward, and obviously doesn't apply to everyone. But the students are coming off of two incredibly different and stressful, and who knows what the outcome is going to be, sort of years. And if we can just be patient and listen to the students, I think all the other stuff is going to fall into place. So I also have a favorite quote that I'm going to share with you before we close things out. Catherine M. Wallace said the following: "Listen earnestly to anything your child wants to tell you, no matter what. If you don't listen eagerly to the little stuff when they are little, they won't tell you the big stuff when they are big, because to them, all of it has always been big stuff." So let's together listen to the children. Let's find out what they want and help them to reach their highest potential, because I think we all have that common goal. So in closing, I do look forward to meeting your children, meeting you, and working together for the next 3 years. But as I said in my beginning clip, I am still the 8th grade counselor, which means I'm not done with them yet. Even though we've already scheduled for high school, we still have plenty of time left of 8th grade. So I'm going to ask that if you have any requests or any information that you believe I need to know, that you hold off on sending me an email until July 1st. I will have tied up all my loose ends with my 8th graders, and we'll be ready to start up with a new group. You might be a little concerned that, you have this information and I need to know it as soon as possible. And the reality is, in middle school, we don't get started with next year's schedule or anything like that until over the summer. So we have plenty of time and we will get it all figured out. So thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to meeting everyone in the fall.
All right, parents, thank you for sticking with us. So just two last documents that we shared as part of the initial piece is the frequently asked questions. Because you have a ton of questions, I'm sure. So question about the Genesis Parent Portal and how you register your child, as well as course selection process. And so you know how that will work as well. It's the course selection process document that's in there as well. So starting tomorrow, you can start entering the course selection, but like we said before, it's very important to have a conversation with your child to make a determination of what's best moving forward. And the reason why we ended with the frequently asked questions, because we know you have a ton of questions. We have a ton of time to sort of get through all of it. Most of your questions that you have could be answered as you go through the documentation. It's important, like Ms. Gilchrist said, just to sort of wait to let her wrap up with her 8th graders out of fairness to them in order to go through and prepare for her incoming 6th graders, your children. So again, we are still trying to move things through for our current 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So keep that in mind as we transition the course to welcome your children into Grover Middle School. I hope that you sort of get a feel, for those of you who are new with us, that you are able to get a feel of what Grover's all about. For our returning parents, you already know what Grover's is all about. And the hope is that the next 3 years is very smooth, albeit I have yet to see that. But if you're there to support your child, if you're there to listen to your child, if you're there to make sure that their needs are taken care of, chances are it will be smooth overall. What Mr. Malakay has just added in is the orientation newsletter, and that has all the links to all the videos that you just saw. This recording will be live and will be shared out from the communications department. So any video that you want to go and watch, you don't have to look at all of them again. You can say, what would that parent say? Or what did that school counselor say? And if you go right there and you can click on the video and hear exactly what they said, including Ms. Kiak's piece is in there. So you want to listen to that again, you're more than welcome. On that note, have a great night. Have a great night. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate in reaching out to us. Thank you again for your time. Be well.